and welcome back to this week's series of realism tips. This week we are going to be covering sleepiness, especially as diurnal species, and how you can incorporate that in the nighttime. So a lot of these tips are generally overlapping or sort of similar, so there is going to be some redundancy, but I still felt that it was important to include everything. So first and foremost, when it comes to sleeping, diurnal creatures will mostly be doing that at night or sometimes in rainy days like here. So there are a few different ways they can kind of mimic the sense of unconsciousness, and what one suggestor said is to try and turn down the brightness on your computer to mimic the lack of visibility as when the eyes are closed. You can also generally incorporate this by looking down at a fixed spot to get the same effect if you don't want to alter your screen's brightness at all. Once you get up though, you can start off with a bit more of a slow move. After all, when you first wake up, if there's nothing immediately urgent, you don't always just get up and run away. So you can take the time to sit up, look around, stretch, yawn, scratch. Just generally get your muscles warmed up and get ready to go for the day. I have my keys bound to certain keybinds, but you can also select them off of the wheel by pressing V to look around, at least on the PC. So the eye emote is going to be to look around, the side-to-side arrows are going to be to stretch, and then kind of the curved arrows are usually to shake. This will vary by dino though. Once you are awake too, again, if you don't have to run away, you can move off at a slower pace. So naturally when you're walking, you're going to be stuck usually on the trot setting. By tapping your Z key, which is the default binding on PC, you can slow down to an actual walking speed. A lot of creatures, this will be a lot slower and it's very noticeable, but you can use this to mimic sleepiness or stiffness or grogginess. So you can also use the slower speed setting whenever you are getting up and moving, alternative to your dinosaur schedule. So if you're a diurnal species and you're moving at night, you can move slower to be more cautious of your surroundings, since your eyesight is going to be much worse in the nighttime usually. And also just to mimic weakness or sleepiness since you are moving out of schedule. To help align with that, you can keep your head down and look at the ground to kind of mimic that weariness. Alternatively, if you're a nocturnal animal and you're moving about in the daytime, you can have that same sense of grogginess about you, but you can also kind of keep the shaded areas or out of bright light, since that would probably be a lot more sensitive to your eyes. If a diurnal animal is moving about at nighttime, you can also try lowering your screen's brightness to give a more real sense to not being totally aware of your surroundings. And then that can kind of lead to being startled by objects that are normally not a threat if your animal gets paranoid. As you start to go about your daily routine, sometimes you can start off by taking a quick snack or a drink of water to get up and get ready for the day. Just try not to drink salt water like I inadvertently did here, although maybe a very sleepy dinosaur does make that mistake itself, and that could be a pretty good wake-up call there as well. That's really about it for this week's series of tips. I know this is more of a short one, but I did just want to touch base on some of these sleepy behaviors and how to go about enacting those. If you have any tips or tricks or recommendations, please leave that in the comments below, or you can navigate to the Discord and submit your tips directly into the Google Forum document for the relevant game. That's about it, so I'll go ahead and see you all next time. Stay safe out there.